All right, traders, to watch this video for Tuesday, July 2nd, you can see the SPY here pretty much sitting at all-time highs. It hit all-time highs this morning, closing off of its highs, which is not uncommon after a big gap up like it had today. So what are we watching for tomorrow? Keep in mind, if you are new to my videos, I am a day trader. I never hold overnight, and so all of these are stocks that I like the daily chart. It might be an in-play mover tomorrow, and I will take a trade if I get a proper intraday setup. I realize most of you know that about me, but if someone's watching my video for the first time, I don't want anyone to mistake this for swing trades. I do not hold overnight. I'm building a list of stocks that might make me some money tomorrow with a proper intraday setup. All right, having said all that, you know I like whole number inflection points. We got a free webinar out about how we trade those. This Seadrill is kind of a rounded bottom here. Big volume on Friday, decent relative volume lately in this stock, and topped out at exactly 5. So for me, it's kind of interesting through 5 tomorrow. Tilray, TLRY. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little better. Really nice move in Tilray over the course of about a week back here from 38.70 all the way up to 51.03, and it's been kind of flagging ever since. Today, Wayne in chat, for those of you that weren't there, called this through 47. It went to 49.30, and the daily chart looks pretty handsome, right? Because you have this big pop of flag, and it's starting to break to the upside out of this flag. So I'd half expect this to test this 51.03 pretty soon and maybe break above that. So I definitely want to watch Tilray. Nice call by Wayne today. FRSX on Friday, over 20 million shares. Now, what I don't like about it is it gave most of its intraday move back on Friday, but it did have good news that sparked this. And then so today, it gapped up and actually held up pretty well. It's one of those equilibrium days where it closed about where it opened. So I think this is worth having on a chart. It's kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a loosey-goosey chart, right? But, it's a little bit weird. But, just the fact that it held up today and it has good news behind it, I definitely want to have it on a chart for tomorrow. All right, REKR. Maybe my least favorite going to tomorrow, just simply because those of you that know me, you know I like what I call in-play stocks, recent high flyers. And you do have recent high relative volume for this stock, but not massive, passionate volume. Candlestick-wise, though, it looks pretty good. I mean, it made like a 3-week move from $1 to over 220, and it's kind of coiling below 2 since then. It kind of reminds me of some of these other plays that I want to see volume come in before I get involved. But it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. And being a holiday week and not much going on, this one made the list when normally maybe it wouldn't. RTTR. I like this one because every time it pops, it does so on pretty strong volume. So it popped back here, then again on volume here, and topped out at 135. Then back here, big volume again, puts in a lower high at 117. And now you kind of have from here to here, you kind of have a cup and handle forming. The most recent high was about 4 sessions ago, 114. So I like it over 114. I look to the left and I say there's just a one single point, price point on a chart. In other words, not a lot of consolidation here. There's not a lot of traders involved at this price. So some people would say, well, that's resistance right there. I look at these single price points that it hits on big volume, any stock, any chart, as a catalyst, not resistance. In other words, if it breaks 117, 118, to me that's a catalyst for maybe a move to and maybe through this next catalyst of 135. These are just single points on a chart, not a lot of resistance there. So I call these stat catalysts. I love the setup. Probably my favorite going into tomorrow. GLBS, nothing pretty here, but in after hours this went up to 280 before settling in around 265. They had news after hours. I thought maybe it was earnings, but it's not. They closed out a loan or something. So we'll see if it gets volume in pre-market. Maybe it'll be a gap and go play, right? Again, I'll have it on a chart, but we'll see. PRPO, nice volume today. Generally, I wouldn't put something on watch after it's made a big 2-day move. The reason this one made the list is, for one, it's kind of a somewhat recent high flyer. Look at the moves it made back here. But it ended up tailing down all the way back down here on almost no volume. So you could argue, well, maybe it's becoming in play again. I don't like to have something on watch for a trade after a 2-day move, as I just said. The reason I'm putting this one on watch, though, when you go to intraday, it topped out like in the opening 20 minutes of the day and then kind of tailed off and then put in this kind of intraday cup and handle that really never resolved one way or the other. So that makes me like this one a little bit more, even though it's had a 2-day move. It makes me like it a little bit more. And it can really move at times. So PRPO makes the list. All right. DMAC, another one that I guess you could argue a recent high flyer because, I don't know, what, 2 weeks ago had pretty nice volume for this stock. The reason I'm watching it, even though it only traded 34,000 shares today, is because usually when something like this gaps up and then volume drops off, usually it fills the gap and just you don't even hear from the stock for another 6 months or so. This one's kind of holding up pretty well. So I'm not going to trade it unless I get kind of a really big volume spike. You know, it'll have to be like maybe news behind it, and then I'll get involved maybe above this consolidation. I don't know, maybe above 525. And this may never happen. Usually something that trades 34,000 in one day would not make my list. But I have such a short list because of the holidays that this one went ahead and made the list. But, you know, remember, I've got to have volume on that thing before I'll trade it. And then lastly, I've got this DOVA, which gapped up on big volume 3 sessions ago, topped out at 1489. The next day topped out at 1470, put it in inside day, and then again another inside day today, topping out about 1460. So you really do have kind of a stacked catalyst scenario, a coiling pattern, holding the gap pretty well. So that one might kind of break out of this range. We'll see. And hopefully we'll add some gappers to this list as well. And, you know, just keep in mind, we're in a holiday week. We really want to see clean setups before we get involved. And I would recommend cutting your position size down anytime you're in a holiday week. All right, I'm done babbling. We'll see y'all in chat tomorrow.